Hello.
Where are you today?
This is Lego Washington, D.C.
Whoa,
Yeah,
it's a lot of Legos.
indeed. They have uh they have a lot of Legos over there at Legoland. And they did in Manhattan, San Francisco, LA, Washington, D.C., New Orleans. There's more. It's ridiculous.
Do the kids love it?
Amelie likes it, but she's more into like the water park.
Oh, there's a Lego water park?
Yeah, Legoland is like it's like a little Disneyland.
All right.
Like Lego is family owned still.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
I just read that Zildjian, the company that makes the symbols, that company started by alchemists in the 1600s or something.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Turkey.
Okay, Adam.
All right. Can you guys see my homework there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So, first question. Identify whether the lack of a coffee cup in a place where there is no coffee cup is either a wrong tin or a cheat tin, and provide a reason justifying your answer. Can we do that?
It's tricky. I feel like we could be wrong either way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're kind of in the middle of figuring that out. But we kind of reached something that I felt like was a conclusion at one point in the class. But I'm sure Ashley will tell us otherwise.
Not answering the homework. That's
I'll say it's
Okay.
a cheat. I'll say it's a cheat end. I'll start the conversation by saying it's a cheat end because it's
Thank you.
unchanging.
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so can we give a reason?
Because it's unchanging.
Yeah, well, I mean, and yeah, why is it unchanging?
Oh,
if it got any less than what it is, something would be there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. There's no physical expression of the archetype. So kind of the way I worded it, I mean, that's essentially that's right. That's one way of saying it, Nick. So first we should point out that cheat sins and that cheat sins are synonymous with archetypes, and wrong sins can be thought of as being physical expressions of those archetypes. The lack of a coffee cup in a place where there is no coffee cup is conceptual in nature. Therefore, it must be a cheat sin, as there is no physical expression. I would say that's the operant, like that's the kind of operator there.
Hey, Adam, does it have to be physical? Could it be like a state of mind or something? A cheat, a wrong 10? I'm just curious. I don't remember. Your book covered it.
If you're asking me specifically, I think it was still a little ambiguous.
yeah. I don't think it. I had the same question. I didn't think it.
Well, because we're at a. Sorry again. I didn't mean to step on your words there.
I'm gonna go look it up in your book while you guys are going on here.
Yeah, if I think around section 292 gives specifically the three different types of direct and indirect types of perceptions.
No, Adam, it was 293 for sure.
293.
I was expecting Word to can't correct on that.
I would think that Rangchen, Nopo, Mitakpa, and Dundandamba should all be Denchi.
Okay. I'm checking.
Yeah, well, there was so is it possible to have a direct perception of an indirect to experience a direct perception indirectly? And that was do you see where it was the entire point of the book last term, and the third section, actually, you know what, I could just go and look it up right now also. Let's see here, just to be a little bit, I just want to be specific. So yeah, in 292 from my end again, in 292, we identify 3 different topics that we were going to look at. And we are currently in the 3rd of those topics. And the 3rd of those topics is looking at what it means to be an indirect act, what it means to be, we're looking at exploring indirect accurate perceptions, which are either direct or indirect. Yeah. So this is JPOC Seme Ngutok Shuk Kidundang. Soon. Yeah, so we were actually exploring indirect accurate perceptions, which are either direct or indirect. So from what it looks like here, you can have JPOC Sema, which is also direct. A direct form of JPOC Sema.
Weird.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying it's ambiguous, and I just don't know precisely how to answer Geshe-la's question, other than just saying it looks like it's possible, but I can't give supporting reasons as to why, or supporting examples. So sorry. So number 2, is it possible to have a direct, accurate perception of the lack of a coffee cup in a place where there is no coffee cup? And what counterexample can be given to support the idea that it is possible to have a direct perception of an archetype?
Well, I was going to say yes, but then when you say
Yeah.
counterexample, it makes it sound like it would have to be no to the first question.
Oh no, it didn't. Well, no, it you should be able to say yes to the first question,
Yeah.
and then also give a counter, an example, meaning a counterexample to the possibility to, if somebody were to say no to the first part of our question, then we should be able to provide a counterexample to their no statement.
Yeah, and he did, and I don't remember what it was.
It was, it's a pretty go-to one. What if I said Namkien?
Oh,
Kunkien, excuse me, Kunkien.
Omniscience?
Yeah. Specifically, the wisdom of omniscience, which considers,
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Right?
yeah,
It's a pretty
Yeah.
go-to
Can
example.
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
everything directly.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Sorry,
Adam
go
and
ahead.
Ken, I remember that now, but isn't it kind of cheating when you start talking about Buddhas? Isn't it like,
I agree with Word on this one, especially.
Well, I mean, it wasn't. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Because my whole thing is it wasn't directly stated that it has to be the perception of an ordinary being. So if you're just asking in general, is it possible to have a direct, accurate perception of Bumme, then yeah, we can give an example of some instance in which it is. If you wanted to limit that to ordinary ordinary beings, beings who don't possess, beings on the first four tracks, the first 4 paths, then yeah, I think you'd have a hard time finding a point at which you could posit something that would. I mean, it does feel kind of like a go-to, just this kind of blanket example that you can give.
I
Was
think
that
they also
example in
have
the
this
text?
thing. Yeah, it is the example in the text.
Oh, okay.
They also have this thing, right? Nelmjorngunsum, or which we haven't covered
Oh
yet.
yeah,
but I
yeah,
think
yeah, totally. Yogic
They
direct.
have in this school, so I wonder.
Interesting.
Right?
I didn't think
wonder
about
if they didn't clarify, but I wonder if the Buddha's direct perception of negations is direct or yogic direct, or
No, totally. That, yeah. Yeah. And that is, honestly, thank you for thank you for that, because that's definitely a second example. And specifically, I think Geshe-la actually mentioned the awareness of an aria in the last class.
Say again. I was.
The awareness of an aria. Yeah, no, I think that's pretty much it. I think we get the gist of it. Number 3, specify which type of reasoning is used to prove the assertion in the following syllogism. Consider a place where there is no coffee cup. There is no coffee cup there because there is nothing there which is cup-like and performs the function of holding coffee. Also, give the Tibetan phrase for this reasoning. So this is this is a technical term from the Tibetan logical tradition in reference to the relationship between 1 and 3. Chokcha, but it's a little bit more specific than that. So 1 and 3. So when you look at 1 and 3, the chokcha, and you're trying to establish the presence of the subject in the reason or the relationship thereof, between that there exists one. There is a further way that you can look at the way that you prove the non-existence of something.
Yeah.
And that has a specific kind of designation within the logical tradition.
Yeah. By negation. I don't remember the Tibetan proving, but yeah, Sinquan.
We had what if I gave you one of the words, mik, and then I said mamik.
Oh yeah.
I didn't hear what you said. What was it?
Yeah, mamikba something dot.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah. Mamikbe talk. That's it.
Yeah, but we need okay. You remember we were talking about? So I used a different syllogism. There's no coffee cup, or excuse me, consider a coffee cup. There is no coffee cup. A place where there is no coffee cup. There is no coffee cup there because there's nothing there which is coffee-like, performs the function of holding coffee.
Could you speak any faster? Because I think the live translators are taking a nap.
That's okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah,
I was a joke.
They already my mikpad.
Yeah, they're yeah. Okay, I'll try to slow down. Sorry about that. In our last class, Geshe-la gave us an example of consider the trash can. It is not there. It's not in the garage because there's no plastic thing that usually holds garbage there.
Yeah.
Okay. And what we're looking at is the subject, the trash can, and then 3, the third element, the reason, being there is no round thing, right? Which holds trash that's there. So we're looking at the nature of a trash can. I just gave you the key word, nature. What's the Tibetan word for nature that we usually see? I mean, they're
Rangshin.
Rangshin. Yeah, and now Rangshin, mamik.
Betak.
Rangshin mamik betak. Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So
they say pulling teeth in Tibetan.
So the reason employed here is I'll slow down. The reason employed here is the reasoning where one proves the non-existence of something through its nature. And I haven't seen that you've translated this I'm sure you have translated this again, but I didn't find it in our data. Can I get your approval or disapproval for this here?
One person non-existent. I would say which establishes that something of a reason that is, well, it's a long story, but that's okay. Provisionally, let's leave it like that.
Okay, good enough. Good enough for now. All right, and
I translated it in 1980, okay, and I can show you the book.
yeah, the Green Book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go.
It was pretty
Is
bad.
there? Do we have a PDF of that by any chance?
Let's change the subject.
Do we have a PDF?
Of which one?
I would
Adam?
love to know.
Of
Let
the
me know
Green
if
Book.
someone finds it.
Yeah, we have a.
Oh, we're running out of time, you guys.
We'll talk about it offline.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, seriously though, me too though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with respect to
For
the short
posterity.
algorithm, so and by short algorithm, I guess I could have just put it's full sum. With respect to
Got
the
it.
short algorithm we apply to discern, I need to slow down. With respect to the short algorithm we apply to discern the validity of a given syllogism, what is the technical term for the first step in this algorithm? And is the relationship something that we perceive directly or deductively?
Ah, no, that's a question.
Chokcha.
Right? Yeah.
And maybe it depends on the situation of whether or not, because you could be debating something that's right in front of you.
Can we agree that logic is always deductive?
Yeah, Nick, we're talking about a relationship.
Relationships are always conceptual.
I would agree, actually.
Uh-huh.
I think so.
I'd say that's kind of the nature of universals
Yeah.
from a Western philosophical standpoint.
Yeah.
When we consider things like species and how, yeah, it's something I've been reading about. Yeah, so I think even from the point of view that we were looking at in the collected topics in my first book, when we got to the section on relationships and what it means to have for a relationship to exist between two things, you kind of have to have a consciousness in order to
Can I ask you a question, Adam, about that?
Yeah, please go ahead. I hope I can
consider the grass, it photosynthesizes because it's green. Okay.
So
and then
grass
right.
the grass is green.
I was thinking
the choke.
I was gonna say Tara, but yes, seems direct.
Well, what about beings who are, like, let's say, colorblind?
The green of the grass is direct perception, but the grass is green, it's always indirect perception.
The grass is
that opens up some interesting problems. Then wouldn't you break that down? Then nothing would be direct perception when you follow that to its logical extreme.
The color is the perception of green is direct perception.
When you have raw sense data, right? When you're experiencing raw sense data, that is direct.
So green is direct perception, but
the perception of green is direct perception.
Yeah, right. The perception of green is a direct perception, but then the blade of grass is the blade of grass is not a direct perception, right?
No, it's not. And there's a huge debate about this with people. Can you perceive a person directly?
Definitely. I mean, it seems that you wouldn't even be able to perceive a blade of grass.
When you say person, like that, I mean, you're talking about
a concept.
A concept.
Yeah. Right. Okay, we got to get to work.
Okay, so so kind of the way I answered this, and this may or may not be proven. The technical term. I may find out that this is incorrect.
I think. So. By the way, Chokcha is the first two words of the Pramanavartika. So
interesting.
You can make fun of somebody who misunderstands it.
So the technical term for the relationship between the first and the third elements of a syllogism is known as the Chokcha. And this relationship always be deductive because logic, by its very nature, belongs to the realm of mentation and abstraction. Sorry for those words. I couldn't quite think of any other less of a way of describing it. I mean, I guess I could have. I just didn't give it much more thought. So, class discussion. This is just something I had a question about myself, which is why I bring it to you guys. Just like maybe 10 sections before the one that we're currently in. This was actually given as a subject, Sacho Kibome, and currently we're exploring Pome. So I was trying to figure out why the Sacho was dropped, and because it feels like there's a difference. It feels like I could come up with a few reasons as to why, maybe, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm definitely not sure. I mean, I feel like there's, and for everybody out there, so Sacho Kibume is essentially a place where there is no coffee cup. Pome is simply the lack of a coffee cup. So I was trying to figure out why our author, Kedrip J, chose to use Sacho Kibume at a certain point in our text, and why he uses simply Pume currently. But if nothing's coming to you off the top of your head, guys, then we can just move on. I mean, we spent a little bit of time.
There's a famous discussion of all the emptinesses in this room. The table has its own emptiness. Connie has her own emptiness. JB has his own emptiness. So I'd say from that point of view, it's Sachoki Bume, the lack of a coffee cup in a certain location is certainly different from the lack of coffee cups.
Totally. Yeah. Okay. And I'll just have to cook it.
I mean, by the discussion we just had, in fact, it seems like one of those you could see directly and the other you couldn't, because one is just not seeing a coffee cup and the other is applying that lack of coffee cup to a location. According to you guys. Nick and I aren't convinced.
Well, let's see what happens in the next section then. Because we were just about to give we were just about to hit a section in the Parliament of Arctica that discusses why there's only two. Never mind, we'll get to it. So anybody? Sortong?
Someone who sees things coming this way.
Generally is applied to
the people
in reference to
non-arias.
Yeah. Oh, non-arias.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
And by the way, that's probably one of the most important words ever invented. If it means one of the 5 most important words in the universe. Okay.
Wow.
If you think things are coming at you, then you have a problem. And if you only understood that, you'd probably have a good life. Okay.
Thanks, man. So get ready to shred this up for me, Geshe-la.
Shredda Kelte Rangshin Mamibe Daki Chokche Tseme Dukyan Sheja Mayino Shina Rangshin Mamibe Daki Chokche Tseme Dukyan That's Sheja Mayino Shina Rangshin Mamibe Daki Chokche. Let's take the carport. I did not say garage, Adam, because I don't have a garage.
Okay. Okay.
I'd like to have no, I'm just kidding. I don't want to have. Don't
build you one.
Send you a garage.
We'll get you a garage from Amazon.
You're gonna have hippies on your doorstep within minutes.
I like not having a garage. Okay, so yeah, so if you say, let's take the carport, there's no garbage can there because there's nothing there that's plastic and holds garbage, right? The rangshin, by the way, is that the tak, which is a plastic thing which holds garbage, and the thing which is not there, garbage can,
right,
have the same nature.
Yeah.
To be one is to be the other.
Right.
So if two things are such that to be one is to be the other, and one of them is missing, then the other one's always missing. Okay, like functional and changing. Functional and changing.
Mhm.
If nothing functions in the room, then nothing changing is in the room. Okay. Okay. You can perceive the fact that in the carport there's no plastic thing that holds garbage, right? But that it cannot be the object of a direct, correct perception, right? Let me see. In that case, suppose you were to say, that there accurate perception establishes the relationship, and the reason where one proves the non-existence of something through its nature, but there is no object considered. You could say that. So once it's a don't forget we're talking about the relationship between 1 and 3. The carport or the garage and the plastic thing that holds garbage. Okay. So when we talking, okay, here's the full logical statement. Let's consider the carport. There's no garbage can there because there's nothing plastic there that holds garbage. Okay. The chokcha is the existence. Well, it is the fact that there is no plastic thing that holds garbage in the carport. That's the chokcha. Okay. That's the first of the 3 necessary relationships. Okay. So could you perceive, he says, you could never perceive that chokcha with it could never be the object of a direct perception. And I would sort of agree, okay, because it's, or not.
Well, according to what you said while he was doing the homework, you definitely made that case.
Yeah. So I agree with the other guy. Okay. Right now I agree with the other guy, but he's always wrong though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's saying you can't see it direct, or you can?
He said you can. You cannot.
Oh.
The relationship between 1 and 3 cannot be perceived by a direct perception.
Because there's no object.
Now
let's,
the only thing we're connecting it to is existence, right? Like Nick was trying to connect green to grass, but here we're just trying to connect a plastic place for trash to non-existence.
I'm
So
sorry.
we're trying to connect the absence of plastic thing to the carport. I mean, that would be the chokcha.
Yeah.
Oh, in it.
Yeah, connecting to whether or not it's in the carport. Yeah.
Yeah, the lack of a plastic thing that holds garbage in the carport. Can you perceive that with a direct perception?
I think you said you could last class.
I don't know. Because you cannot, and you're supposed to be wrong. Now,
well, remember when we also right as we were finishing class, Geshe said that this hinges on Mayembele Lokpa.
well,
Yeah.
You remember? And in order to go through that process, what has to happen?
Your mind has to find everything in the universe.
Yeah, and this is definitely a mental exercise. That's not something that happens directly. So even in order to perceive the absence of a coffee cup, you have to go through the opposite of everything that it's not the lack of a coffee. I think, hold on, am I wording that right?
Is that not true about the color green?
what's not true?
In order to perceive the color green, does your mind not have to go through everything that's not the color green first?
I don't know. I would say that's not the case.
I see where you're trying to go with that, Nick. I think.
Sorry.
Well,
okay.
Yeah. You have an archetype for the color green, right?
Mm.
And even if it is a direct perception, we're still not talking because I think what we're doing is we're conflating two ideas here. Relationships being one aspect, forming relationships between like 1 and 3 and different objects versus the mental image of something that is perceived directly. And I think we could be getting to although I think I see where you're trying to go with that.
Okay.
Yeah, not to mention seeing something directly without a mental image in this school, which is probably not the same as seeing something through Dunchi in this school.
Okay,
We'll hopefully we find out. Yeah, please, right. please show me.
Yeah. Should I give the plane back to you, boss?
No, but I think you should do 317.
Okay.
317. Let me check it. Okay. For instance, let's take reality. Are you saying it isn't necessarily the case that it's considered as an accurate? Oh no, this is a different thing. Where he's going with this conversation is not whether the relationship between 1 and 3 is perceived by a direct perception or deductive perception. That's not where he's going. He wants to say, is the word drupa equal to the word shelwa or jelwa? Okay. So when you say it is established by an accurate perception, or you say it is considered by an accurate perception, are they yin kyab nyam? Okay, I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Are these two sets equal? Set number 1, all the things in the universe which are established by a correct perception, and number 2, all the things in the universe which are considered by an accurate perception. Are they equal?
I'd say yes.
Seems so.
That's all. That's all. He says that other guy is trying to draw a distinction between considering and establishing.
This would be a good argument as to why Nam Kingi Shelja would be a because Nam.
It's a synonym for Yupa.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Which and also for something that can be established as existing via Drupa.
Sheja, Shelja, Yupa, Dunchi.
Shelja.
Sheja, Shelja, Yupa, Dunchi. Okay, all the things in the universe are considered, all the things in the universe which are known and existence are synonyms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. So what the point he's trying to make at 317, the only point he's trying to make is, look, are you trying to draw a distinction or a difference between considering something and establishing something? Because in the study of Buddhist logic, they are exactly the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah,
now,
I get it.
Why he accused the guy of that, the other person in this debate used the word consider rather than establish. And we're trying to suss out, is he thinking there's a difference between consider and establish?
Right.
With an accurate perception. If you establish it with an accurate perception, it must exist. Can we say that if you consider it with an accurate perception, it must exist?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we say they are the same thing. Okay, that's all.
Okay.
Now, because we want to know if to the opponent it means the same thing to establish something with a direct, accurate perception and to consider something with a direct, accurate perception. Are they the same? I'll say it again. To establish something's existence with a direct form of accurate perception, is that equal to consider something with a direct form of accurate perception? And
yeah,
we say they are equal. They are the same thing. Okay.
Okay.
That's all. 317. 318. Dona shudru bashajam yembe makabatalo. If you say there's a difference between establishing with an accurate perception and considering with an accurate perception, then they cannot. Then all the things in the universe which are established are established, and all the things in the universe which are considered are not the same, are not equal. Okay, but they are. That's Rang Luk. Rang Luk says everything in the universe which is established with an accurate perception is equal to everything in the universe which is considered by an accurate perception. Okay, that's all. Okay, that's all he's saying. So the other is he didn't go where we wanted him to go. Okay, we wanted to know, if it's a relationship between two things, can we see it directly, or do we have to figure it out? And we were hoping he would go there, and he didn't go there. Okay, he just wanted to play with the difference between two verbs, establish and consider. Okay.
Droop and Sheljia.
Yeah.
Droop and he says Shelwa.
Yeah, and the present tense is njelwa. And when they're making a noun, they use the future tense.
Okay.
Oh.
Sheljia.
Namken can't see chochoks. Namken can't see chokchas.
Chichir.
Because it only sees things directly.
If Namken wanted to, could it see something indirectly?
No.
Could Namken imagine?
I don't think so.
Could Namken imagine how I see something indirectly?
And would see that directly. Does Namken see things indirectly?
I don't know. Does Namken see all things?
Yeah.
Then that because there are two different kinds of objects of knowledge, there's two different kinds of perception.
Oh, that's exactly where we're going in this next section.
Yeah, let's go.
It is. It is actually.
I would probably win that debate, Kramer. I have to say, if I wasn't being stubborn.
I count on it.
I think you could probably win that debate. All right, here.
If you weren't stubborn, you wouldn't have stubborn students.
That's probably true. There's this thing.
But I would miss out.
I wish I could move this menu bar thing. I don't know how to do it. What? Go where?
More on the right side.
Go to more.
Yeah. And then go down to hide video or hide floating video controls.
Oh, cool.
Yay, okay, and thank you. All right, where are we, Adam? Oh, we're here.
That one, and Donas. We should be on Ona now.
We're on Ona, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, please read. And Nick traditionally picks on the first person.
Ona, Gyunje Kijalpa Yang Mun Sum Seme Sheljartel. They Drubecher. Duna Gyunje Kijalpa Trotak my Yimbartalo Shena.
Yeah, this is nice. Well, then, the drapa between Gyunje, what's that, Adam?
The relationship between a cause and an effect.
Yeah, so he was talking about the relationship between the subject of a logical statement and the reason in a logical statement, and he said it had to be perceived, that it could be perceived by a direct perception, a relationship. And then we just chose another relationship to make sure that's what he really believes. So a classic relationship to choose would be Gyunde. Okay, well, let's forget the relationship between the first part and the third part of a logical statement. Let's go to the relationship between a seed and a tree. Okay, is that relationship perceived by a direct accurate perception or an indirect accurate perception? Do you need logic to see that there's a relationship between a seed and a tree?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, once you take it to the realm of time, the cause is gone by the the seed is gone by the time the tree is there. To see a relationship between a seed and a tree, you must be using logic, because one of them's not there anymore. Okay, you can't see it with a direct perception. Impossible, I think, personally. Okay, so we say to him, oh, by the way, no, he's saying to us, are you saying that you could see the relationship between a seed and a tree directly, or you could consider it directly? Okay, why? Because that relationship can be confirmed by a direct perception. Okay, then we say, let's suppose we say, duh, yeah, you can establish the relationship between a cause and a result with a direct, accurate perception. Suppose we say yes. He says, but suppose you say yes. Then the relationship between a seed and a tree must not be conceptual. It must not, and here drotak doesn't mean overestimate as it means in the what school?
Mm-hmm.
Mind only.
Yeah, there's the mind only. He owns them. Yeah. Here it just means fabrication, not necessarily in a negative sense. Okay, it's not overrating here, as it was in the study of the interpretation. Okay, art of interpretation. Okay, so look, and this is my feeling too. I mean, it's my natural feeling. The relationship between a cause and a result, the relationship between a seed and a tree, is a concept.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because the seed is gone by the time the tree is there. You can't see it directly. Therefore, he says, if you think you can see the connection between a cause and an effect directly, then you must be saying that that relationship between a seed and a tree is not conceptual. Okay, it's not a fabrication or a creation of the mind. Okay. Got you okay? Okay. All right. It's a good argument. Not bad. All right. Dr. Kramer, you checking Mr. Andrade. Hey, Adam, I'm so jealous that you have the same last name as my favorite.
Yeah, I still haven't listened to any of her stuff.
Well, I can say it for you, but it's illegal, right, Nathan?
It is illegal.
And don't do it.
It just tell me not to do it. It happens to me. Okay. Anyway, Adam, you want to take a 1 minute break and take some water or something? And
it's not going to go away. The water's not going to help. I'm starting to come down with something, I think.
Okay. Okay.
You can tell by the background he's in a very dry place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Subpar medical facilities.
Camel spit.
Yeah. That's how we're treating stuff nowadays. Taeyang ngaman de ching chima la kappa mete ko che tela zur tong yi ngun sum yina che de dro tok ma yin ge pa yin yi dro tak ma yin ge pa yin ma yin yi che de te ngun sum teme chel ja yin pala dro tak ma yin ming ma yin mi good so.
Yeah. So he's kind of saying something I don't agree with. And it's good, right? Deang ngama derching. Ngama means your previous statement. Yun Jaki Jabba Yang Munsun Semishijar. I agree to your first part there. I agree that the relationship between a seed and a tree could be perceived, could be, what do we call it? Considered by a direct, accurate perception. Okay, and Geshe Michael was saying no. Okay, this guy says the kach. We say, yeah, I agree. What? I agree that the relationship between a seed and a tree is something you could see with direct perception. Okay, direct. perception. All right. So first of all, I agree with that. That's wrong, Luke. That's us. Okay. Don't confuse the ma in ngama for not de. Okay. Chima la kyapa me. Okay. What was the chima? In that case, the relationship between cause and effect must not be a fabrication of the mind. You don't put it together. Okay. He said the relationship between a seed and a tree is not put together by the mind. And we say, Kavame, that's not necessarily the case. Okay. It's not necessarily the case that, I'm sorry. Okay. If it's I think he's saying you could see a construction directly. Okay. We're saying that you could see a construction directly. Let's follow that. Ko wo means we say, and here he throws in sotong. So he's messing stuff. He's restricting it not only to non-Buddhas, he's restricting it to non-Aryas. Okay. And now that gets sticky. That gets strange. Okay. Whether or not you can see relationships directly with direct perception depends on whether you've seen emptiness or not. No, so that gets a little. So anyway, we say, if something is the direct, accurate perception of a person who has not yet seen emptiness directly, okay, it cannot be a construction, a mental construction. Okay, I'll say it again. If you didn't see emptiness yet, and you see something with direct perception, that thing you see cannot be a construction, cannot be a mental construction. Direct perception, direct accurate perception of a person who hasn't seen emptiness directly yet cannot perceive a fabrication or a construction. But if something is if something is the thing which is considered by a direct accurate perception, I didn't say it couldn't be a construction.
Well, so he's making a distinction between considered and perceived.
I'll say it again because it's hard for me too.
That would be super.
If something is the direct, accurate perception of a person who has not seen emptiness directly, okay. If it, okay, should if something is perceived by the direct, accurate perception of a person who hasn't seen emptiness directly yet, then that thing which they see cannot be a construction, a mental construction. That's always the case. But there's a but. If something is the thing under consideration by a direct, accurate perception, it's not the case that it cannot be a construction.
This is kind of one. Okay. Yeah.
And
he's
he
closing
didn't say
the
non-aria the second time, but we should probably distribute it, right?
No, I don't think we do have to, because he's very much implying that a non-aria, I think, might be able to do it. He's closing the non-canon loophole.
Okay. Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, he could be just he could be using a gun to kill a mosquito.
Right. Yeah.
You see what I mean? If
he could have just said an aria in the direct perception, or a Buddha could see it, but
yeah. I think he's saying that one could have a direct perception of a fabrication, just not bent.
Right. Oh, well,
Well, when in doubt, keep going.
Yeah.
Mm.
Please,
Very true.
5 minutes.
please read Adam. And by the way, we didn't get through much material, but we
Right.
actually thought about the content. So maybe that's not a bad thing.
A good bonus.
Seiji, I'm just looking at Seiji and thinking about my grandson that they never bring to see me. Can you check Mr. Andrade?
Sure.
新娘谢家这件靠安松怎么引进靠车太拉怎么引呢靠车太拉安松怎么引被卡巴超车的安松怎么小家引呢车的让先引被卡被之后
Okay. Okay, good. Oh, by the way, okay, before we read this one, I have to take you somewhere else. This is further ahead in a text by a great textbook writer who put out a book called The Door to Emptiness, or is putting it out in November. Okay, this is from his future book. I got a look. I got a peek ahead at his future book, which is Mr. Adam. Okay. And I want you to read this sentence right here, Adam. Ngunsum ki.
Ngunsum ki, teme ngun shell, dang rang tin dang wapo nam tun chik. Yeah, you made it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I asked the question of whether a wrong sin could be a state of mind. Right? Because
Yeah, you did.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You did.
we were saying physical, it had to be physical. There's my grandson. Don't give my grandson pickles. If he starts liking him, we won't get along. All right, ngunsum seme ngushel. That thing which is directly considered by direct, accurate perception, and rangsen, the actual, what do you call it? The actual
Physical expression.
Yeah, the actual. No, that's why I don't want to say physical.
Right. Expression or manifestation.
Yeah, and changing thing or functional thing. Dun cheek. So low shepa chichen, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rangsen yimbata.
Duh.
Yep.
Come on, say chichir.
Chichir.
Oh, chichir.
Chichir. Nopo yimbecher dang. Nopo dang. Rangsen dunche yimbecher. If you say tamandup, I say saying I want dashik is sumbecher.
Yes, right.
We could
So
say
then,
now Tashe said so in the Dura.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, I think it's going to apply here, but unfortunately, did we run out of time?
so yeah, same
1
problem.
minute.
Then
About
Namkin
30
is
seconds.
Yeah, just
then
before.
Namkin is not Ngunsum.
So this whole course is supposed to teach you how to teach. And what's very important is to bail out. Just we're up. Time's up, you guys.
No, when to bail out.
You think I'm kidding, okay? Why am I a successful teacher? Oh yeah, I know when to bail out. Okay.
But I'm just how you said namshe, but what about just a single thought? Like,
oh, that's easy. Same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Mental event. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Okay. We'll take this up next time. Hopefully, I'll figure it out by then.
We need to exercise or something for this one.
Yeah, it's actually
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Adam.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, man.
5 little minutos.
I'm shy to eat in front of 100 people. Okay, I'm not going to be shy.
We'll just be jealous.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you. Not easy. Good to meet you guys. Look at that beautiful girl. Oh my God, that's my other granddaughter. Sorry. That proves I'm genetically related to her. She's so pretty.
Yeah, she's just getting over. She's like she just kind of her fever's been getting better day to day.
She had something wrong with her ears, right?
She had 2 ear infections. She had she had an ear infection in each one. She's kind of been carrying a cough and a little bit of a fever. Actually, a pretty high fever there for a few days, and so she's been on antibiotics. And
I think most of my students have 2 ear infections also.
oh, but in a good way. Yeah, we get infected with the holy dharma there.
Nice, Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice counterattack. Okay, see you in a minute.
Hey, Adam,
Alex,
did you check the advanced level 2 manual that Geshe-la sent?
I checked it. I didn't read it. But I definitely looked at it.
Check it out. It's incredible. All from
your
book.
I meant to I've been wanting to print it off and to go through and read it. I think I do better with physical books. I mean, I read online too, but I just try to limit like how much I spend reading on like a screen.
Right.
So
when you have time, check it out. I think it's brilliant.
Dude, thanks for the heads up. And if there's ever a good reason to check it out, man, it's because it's been recommended by Mr. Arau.
Well, it's your book, man. It's really cool.
Yeah, totally. No, I went through and kind of in our introduction to the collected topics we went through, and we're looking at the ways that the different chapters from the collected topics could be applied in a DCI way. And it just made me want to kind of, I wouldn't mind actually spending a little bit more time with it to see how Geshe-la treated it,
Yeah,
man. You're looking good.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, brother.
Okay, I'll give you a little preview. In one of the live tools, he explained the relationship between object holder, object realize, object of clear thinking, true image. You'll then, I'll send you the list. It's really cool.
Yeah. It'd be good, man. Thank you, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I am gonna go get something to drink now. I think I'm coming down with something too. I've been coughing a lot.
All right, cool.
I'll see you guys in a few minutes.